Hey guys, welcome to Wave. We talk about a lot of things crypto. If that interests you, then like and subscribe to the channel. In this episode, we'll talk about NFTs. So every now and then, you'll probably see news articles like this. But today it's about Johnny Depp and his NFTs after he won the defamation suit. There are multiple NFTs that keep coming out like this. Some of them worth in millions, and maybe an event, a celebrity, whatever. Right? NFTs keep coming out every now and then. But what are these NFTs? What do they really mean for you? We'll try and sort of understand that here. If you know nothing about NFTs, why? If you know nothing about why these pixelated art or these kitties or these random Pokemon-like creatures are worth in millions of dollars, then we'll try and answer that in this report that we're trying to analyze. So this report is by Coin Telegraph. They have written about NFTs and what are they, what is their ecosystem, what's developing, and so on. Right. So to begin with, what are NFTs? So NFT stands for non-fungible tokens. Right. So what is fungibility? Fungibility is anything that is interchangeable with another thing. For instance, it could be like your currency notes. If you have a 100 rupees note or a $1 note, right, you can exchange that note for another note of the same value. Right. So it wouldn't matter to you if you had a particular 100 rupees note or some other 100 rupees note because it's ultimately the value is the same, right? So that is called fungibility. What is non-fungible? Non-fungible is, for instance, when can you exchange your house with your friend's house? No, you can't, right? Or take a note itself. If suppose you were at an airport, you bumped into a celebrity, the celebrity, signed his autograph on your note. Now suddenly that 100 rupees note is no longer a fungible item, right? Because you wouldn't give that for any other note, right, for any other 100 rupees note. And suddenly a fungible item became a non-fungible item. There are even something else called semi-fungible items. So semi-fungible items are, it's a relatively new term. These are essentially items that can be exchanged but within the same classes. For instance, you can probably exchange a red t-shirt for a green t-shirt of the same price, right? Or you can probably exchange your airline seat. If suppose you had an airline seat which is on the aisle, you could exchange that aisle seat for another aisle seat which is ahead of you or behind you, right? The passenger there wouldn't mind giving it to you. So those are examples of something that is semi-fungible. And what is the token aspect in this non-fungible token? The token aspect is when you establish your ownership of that particular asset on a blockchain, then that becomes a non-fungible token, right? So hope you understood what an NFT really means. Engine is a great platform that is into the whole NFT space. They are building amazing products for NFT generation, which is specifically used in metaverse and gaming uses. So that's one token. We'll do a detailed review of that token a little later. But before that, let's look at what are the properties of an NFT. An NFT is establishes ownership. It provides you something called provenance. Provenance is the can you trace the ownership of this NFT to every person who's ever owned it, right? So let's say I minted an NFT, I sold it to you, you sold it to your friend sold it to some random collector. So now it's already changed hands four times. Right? Blockchain technology allows NFTs to be the transfer of ownership to be publicly verified. Right? So that is called provenance. That's one of the very important properties of NFTs. This is especially important if you look at, let's say, land records or purchase of real estate. If you can add that, if you can make that into an NFT, then it shows transfer of ownership of this asset. Right? Those are some of the real world use cases of this. There's liquidity, then there's programmability, standardization. So some of the other functionalities which are specific, specifically for NFTs, which are in the form of digital content. Now, this is a table of sorts that they have tried to, where they have tried to compare between different assets from Bitcoin, Ethereum, USD, gold, stocks, etc., all the way to NFTs to see what is the fungibility across different assets, across these different parameters, right? So if you see, for instance, Bitcoin, it's not physical, right? It is indestructible, right? Liquidity is very high, but NFTs, for instance, if you compare against Bitcoin, It is also not physical, but it might be same on all parameters, but only one parameter it differs, which is liquidity. That means Bitcoin is easily sold and bought, whereas NFTs, it's a little difficult to sell and buy it. It's not as liquid as Bitcoin. So you can probably just read through this report to understand some differences between these assets on different parameters. I will link it in the description below. But for us, in interest of this video, of the time in this video, we'll try to cover some of the interesting aspects of it, like history and what is the future use cases and so on. So the history of NFTs didn't start like yesterday or 3 years back. Right? The history of the NFT actually goes back to 1993, the year that I was born, where Hal Finney first described crypto trading cards in an online forum, right? And in 1997, there were digital collectible cards. There was the Bitcoin white paper. Vitalik Buterin, who's the founder of Ethereum, along with a few others, developed something called colored coins to make semi-fungible bitcoins. Right. So there is a huge history. If you just look at this chart, all the way from 1993 to now, CryptoKitties was probably the first NFTs of this of the mainstream era that sort of came out and that clogged the Ethereum blockchain. That is where the popularity of NFTs really started to pick up. Then OpenSea, which is the largest NFT marketplace, was started in 2017. After that, a number of NFT projects have come out, like Board Ape Yacht Club, and so on. Some very interesting artists have also got onto the NFT place. Even large platforms like Facebook, Meta, Facebook's parent company Meta, is also getting into this, trying to create a creator economy. It's almost all companies, both Web 2 and Web 3, are trying to get into this space. And if you look at the returns of NFTs, had you invested, let's say, about $1,000 in Bitcoin, it would have probably in like somewhere around 2016, it would have probably reached maybe like 16,000, $20,000. But if you take NFTs, it would have reached $250 million. Right, the scale at which NFTs are growing is just impressive, right? Very, very impressive. Right? There's a graph right here that is showing you the growth of NFTs in the last 3-4 years. It's almost growing at like say 168% year on year, right? At a compounded average. So this NFTs is becoming a very big space. But what are they? Why they used for? What are the categories in them? We'll talk about that here. So NFTs are of many kinds, right? It's not like all NFTs are the same thing. For instance, the first category is called collectibles, right? Collectibles are NFTs, which are essentially art forms, or they're like your playing cards, or those Pokemon cards, or baseball cards, or cards of any particular sporting event that you or sporting team that you might have ever used. Um, these cards are just collectibles. They don't have an inherent value. They're not tied really to an asset or something, but they can have some functionality, like maybe to redeem something. For instance, there is this Board Apes Yacht Club, which gives you access to an exclusive Discord chat server called Gentlemen's Club, right? And that is the reason why Board Ape Yacht Club is selling for millions of dollars. And in fact, let me show you right here. This Board Ape Yacht Club was sold for $2.25 million, right? This monkey here was sold for $2.25 million. Can you imagine that? It's very easy for me to, let's say, copy it or download this image. But why is it so valuable? It is valuable because it gives you access to that Discord server, which has a lot of other people, right? If you look at the list of celebrities who own Board Ape Yacht Clubs, so there's Tom Brady, there is Madonna, um, Ben Simmons, Justin Bieber, the Eminem, and a lot of other people also own it. Neymar owns it. Paris Hilton owns an NFT. Snoop Dogg owns an NFT. If you just look at the list, there are so many celebrities who own these NFTs. Right? Why do people want to buy it? Because if you, as an owner of this NFT, can get into a Discord server, it's like being in the same WhatsApp group as many of these celebrities. Then you're of some worth. People are paying for that. People are paying to get access to this. People are paying like millions of dollars to buy images of these bored apes so that they can get into that server. Right? That is what is the real value for this NFT. Otherwise, this image doesn't really have value, right? I can just right click on it and save it. The image has no value, but being in the same Discord server where Mark Cuban is, or where any of these other celebrities I just mentioned are, is what really gives you the the worth of owning one of these pieces. Right? So that is one aspect of NFT ownership, right? Which is broadly into collectibles. There is another one called CryptoPunks, which is slightly older than Bored Ape Yacht Club. That is worth I think the largest, the highest selling one was sold for like 7.6 million in 2021. Then there's art. So NFT art is digital content like music, right? So it is used to, like, an artist can mint his music as an NFT, or a YouTube creator can mint his video as an NFT and put it on a Web3 platform, and every bit of revenue that comes for that particular art or video, that sort of comes in to the artist directly. Right? That is the importance of NFTs for art. In this metaverse, right? We in metaverse, like, land is sold as an NFT. Right? There are many in game items that are sold as NFTs. Right? Especially in games, this is a very big space. If you look at gaming here, Axie Marketplace, the genesis of the first land was sold for about $1.5 million. Sports is another big area. There's a token called Chills, very exciting token. They have tied up with a large number of sporting clubs, football clubs, basketball clubs, baseball clubs, etc., across Europe and America. Your ticket to a sporting event, like a football match, can be an NFT. Right? You can own a piece of your favorite football club because you own an NFT. So there are a lot of interesting things that are coming out in the sporting place as well. And then there's utility. So NFTs can give you rights, sometimes functional, sometimes monetary, to a particular platform and so on. These are some of the interesting, things that are happening in the NFT space. And the three biggest ones of this, which have defined the last 2 or 3 years, are definitely CryptoKitties, CryptoPunk, and Bored Ape Yacht Club. And this has resulted in an enormous ecosystem that is being created in the NFT space. What is this ecosystem? What does it look like? I'll just show you a glimpse of it. We'll look at it in detail in the next video. But this ecosystem essentially spreads across a lot of things that are required for NFTs to be successful, like the NFT infrastructure, right, from layer one, layer two, to minting, storage, portfolio management, and so on. Then there are many apps, virtual worlds, games, sports, music, that are trying to support or use NFT as a concept there. There are NFT marketplaces where you can buy and sell NFTs. You can take a loan against your NFT. Right? So these are some of the interesting, downstream services that are being built for NFTs. NFT as a concept is going to become very big. We'll talk in detail about what are these different services in the next video. But for now, we hope that you understood what NFTs are and why it is such a big deal. It is much more than a picture of a monkey that you can just right click and save.